The Clockmaker's Secret. A novel for English learners. Chapter 1. The Quiet Morning. Tom is a young man. He is 24 years old. He is tall, and he has kind, brown eyes. Tom is a good person, but today, Tom is not happy. Tom is worried. He lives in a small room in an old house. The house is in a small town in England called Oakhaven. Oakhaven is very beautiful. It has green trees, white houses, and a small, slow river. But Oakhaven is very, very quiet. For a young man who needs a job, quiet is a problem. It is 7 o'clock on a Monday morning. Tom's alarm clock rings. Beep! 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 Tom opens his eyes and looks at the ceiling. The ceiling is old and has a small crack. He looks at the window. The sky is grey and cloudy. It is a typical English morning. I must get up, Tom says to the empty room. I must find a job today. Tom stands up. He puts on his best blue shirt and black trousers. He goes to the small kitchen. He wants to make a coffee, but the jar is empty. He looks in the fridge. There is no milk. There is no butter. There is only one piece of dry bread. He looks at his wallet. There is a £5 note and 3 small coins. This is not enough, Tom thinks. The rent is expensive. Food is expensive. If I do not find a job today, I will have a big problem. He puts on his jacket. He opens the door and walks into the cold morning air. Chapter 2. The Search in the Square. Tom walks to the town square. In the middle of the square, there is a big statue of a man on a horse. There are many shops, but most of them are closed. First, Tom goes to the bakery. The smell of fresh bread is wonderful. It is warm and sweet. The baker, Mr. Harris, is a big man covered in white flour. Good morning, Mr. Harris, Tom says. Do you need a helper? I can carry the heavy bags of flour. I can clean the ovens. Mr. Harris looks at Tom. He looks kind, but he shakes his head. I am sorry, Tom. My son helps me for free. I don't have money for a new worker. Try the supermarket. Tom goes to the supermarket. The manager, Mrs. Green, is very busy. She is putting red apples into a box. Hello, Mrs. Green, Tom says. Do you need help today? Mrs. Green doesn't even look at him. No, Tom. The shop is small. I do everything. Try the cafe. Tom goes to the cafe, the tea cup. There are only 2 people inside. They are drinking tea and talking about the weather. Lucy, the waitress, is a friend of Tom. Hi, Lucy, Tom says. Is there a job here? Lucy smiles sadly. No, Tom. Business is very slow. My boss says he might close the cafe next month. Nobody has money for cake these days. Tom walks back to the center of the square. It starts to rain. Small, cold drops of water fall on his jacket. He sits on a wooden bench. He feels very small. He feels very alone. He looks at the clock on the church tower. It is 10 o'clock. Time is moving, but Tom is standing still. Chapter 3. Old Lane. The rain is heavier now. Tom doesn't want to go home to his empty room. He decides to walk down a street he never visits. It is called Old Lane. Old Lane is very narrow. The houses are very close together. The ground is made of old, black stones. It is dark because the houses are so tall. Tom walks slowly, looking at the windows. Most of the shops are empty. But at the end of the lane, there is a small, yellow light. Tom walks toward the light. He looks through the window. Behind the glass, he sees clocks. He sees hundreds of clocks. There are tall grandfather clocks made of dark wood. They have long, gold pendulums that move left and right. Swish! Swish! There are small clocks for a table. There are round clocks for a wall. There are clocks shaped like cats and birds. Above the door, there is an old sign in Miller's Clocks, "We fix time." In the corner of the window, there is a small piece of paper. Helper wanted. Must be quiet. Must be punctual. Tom feels a spark of hope. Punctual, Tom says. I am always on time. I can do this. He reaches for the door handle. It is made of heavy brass. He turns the handle and pushes the door. Chapter 4: The Heart of the Shop. Ding-a-ling. A small bell rings above the door. Tom steps inside. Suddenly, the world changes. Outside, there is the noise of the rain. Inside, there is only one sound: tick-tock. 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 It is not one clock. It is 200 clocks. They are all ticking. They are not perfectly together, so the sound is like 1,000 tiny heartbeats. The air smells strange but good. It smells like old wood, sweet oil, and metal. It is a very clean smell. Hello? Tom says quietly. Nobody answers. Tom looks around. The shop is crowded. There are shelves from the floor to the ceiling. Every shelf has clocks. Some are gold, some are silver, and some are painted with flowers. In the middle of the shop, there is a long wooden counter. On the counter, there is a large book and a small lamp. The lamp is on. It throws a warm, yellow circle of light on the wood. Suddenly, a door at the back opens. A man walks out. He is a short, thin man. He wears a white shirt and a dark blue apron. The apron has many pockets. In the pockets, there are tiny tools, screwdrivers, brushes, and magnifying glasses. The man has white hair and a very short white beard. His eyes, behind thick glasses, look very big. This is Mr. Miller. He does not say hello. He looks at his pocket watch. Then he looks at Tom. "You are late," Mr. Miller says. "Late?" Tom asks. "Late for what?" "The sign," Mr. Miller points to the window. "I put the sign in the window at 8 o'clock. It is now 10 o'clock. You are 2 hours late. A clockmaker must always know the time." Mr. Miller walks to the counter. He touches a silver clock. Time is the most important thing in the world. People waste time. They lose time. They kill time. But I fix time. He looks at Tom's hands. "Your hands are clean. That is good. Dust is the enemy of time. What is your name?" "Tom Wilson, sir." "Do you have a job, Tom Wilson?" "No, sir. I am looking for a job." Mr. Miller pulls out a broom and a soft cloth. "I need a helper. My back hurts. I cannot clean the high shelves. I pay £10 an hour. You work from 9 to 5. You must be silent. I do not like noise. Clocks speak. Humans shout. I prefer the clocks. £10 an hour." Tom thinks. "That is perfect. I accept, sir." Tom says. "Good," Mr. Miller says. "Start in that corner. Clean the glass. Be gentle. If you break the glass, you leave." Chapter 5: The Week of Silence. Tom has worked at Miller's Clocks for exactly 7 days now. Every morning, he arrives at 8:55 a.m. He has learned that Mr. Miller hates it when people are late. The work is not difficult, but it is slow. Tom spends his morning cleaning the grandfather clocks. He uses a special oil for the wood. He must be very careful. While he is working, Mr. Miller stays in the back room. Sometimes, Tom can hear the sound of small metal tools. Clink! 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 Yesterday, while Tom was cleaning a very tall mahogany clock, he noticed something strange. Mr. Miller was sitting at his desk, but he wasn't working. He was staring at a small, empty space on the wall. "Mr. Miller, have you ever owned a clock that went on that wall?" Tom asked. The old man looked at him. His eyes were sad. I have been looking for this shop for an hour," she cried. "My husband told me that Mr. Miller is the best clockmaker in England." Mr. Miller walked out from the back. He did not smile, but he listened. The woman placed a small, broken silver watch on the counter. "It has stopped working. It belonged to my grandmother. She gave it to me before she died. If you fix it, I will pay you any price." Mr. Miller took the watch. He was examining it with a tiny glass when he suddenly froze. He turned the watch over. "I have seen this mark before," he whispered. Tom walked closer. On the back of the silver metal, there was a tiny letter S. "Where did you buy this?" Mr. Miller asked. "I didn't buy it," the woman replied. "My grandmother found it at a market in London many years ago." "Why? Is there a problem?" "No," Mr. Miller said. His voice was shaking. "No problem. Come back in 2 days. I will fix it." After the woman had left, Mr. Miller stayed in the shop. He did not go to the back room. He did not drink his tea. He was staring at the silver watch. 50 years, he whispered. "I have been waiting for 50 years. Chapter 7, The Discovery in the Dust. It was raining again on Friday. The sky was almost black. Tom was sweeping the floor near the back of the shop. It was a very dark corner. His broom hit something hard. Thud. Tom knelt down. He looked under the heavy workbench. He saw a wooden box. He reached out and pulled it. It was very heavy. The box was covered in thick, grey dust. Tom realized that nobody had touched this box for a long, long time. There was a small iron lock on the front. "Mr. Miller, look what I have found," Tom called out. Mr. Miller was walking toward the kitchen, but he turned around quickly. When he saw the box, his face turned as white as a sheet. He dropped his glasses. "Where did you find that?" he whispered. "Under the bench, sir," Tom said. "I thought I had lost that," Mr. Miller said. "I have searched for that box for 30 years. I thought the cleaners had thrown it away. Shall I open it?" Tom asked. "No," Mr. Miller said. He was trembling. "If we open that box, the past will return. And I am not sure if I am ready for the truth." Chapter 8, The Yellow Letter. Finally, Mr. Miller took a small silver key from a hidden pocket in his apron. He had been carrying this key for 5 decades. He inserted the key into the lock. Click! The lid of the box opened slowly. Inside, there was a beautiful watch made of bright, yellow gold. It was shining even in the dark shop. But there was also something else. There was a letter. The paper had turned yellow with age. It was very thin. "I have made a terrible mistake," Mr. Miller said. Tears were falling from his eyes. "I have spent my whole life waiting, but I was the one who should have moved." He handed the letter to Tom. "Read it, Tom. You have a good heart. Tell me, is it too late? Will she forgive me if I find her now?" Tom read the first line, "Dear Arthur, I have moved to a house near the park. I am waiting for you." Chapter 9, The Argument. "Who is Arthur?" Tom asked. "I am Arthur," Mr. Miller said. "Arthur Miller. Most people have forgotten my first name. They just call me a Miller. He sat down on a wooden stool. He started to tell a story. "In 1976, I was 25 years old. My sister, Sarah, was 21. We lived together in this shop. Our parents had died, so we only had each other. Sarah was beautiful and full of life. She hated the clocks. She said they were like small prisons. One day, we had a terrible argument. Sarah had found an old map. She believed there was a treasure in the woods near Oakhaven. I laughed at her. I told her she was being a child. I said she must stay here and work. She was so angry. She took her bags and left. She said, if you do not come to the park tomorrow to say sorry, I will go to London and you will never see me again. I was proud. I stayed in the shop. I did not go to the park. The next day, she was gone. I have waited for 50 years for her to walk through that door, Arthur said. I did not know she had sent a letter. The letter must have fallen behind the workbench 50 years ago. Chapter 10: The Midnight Workshop. That night, Tom could not sleep. He was lying in his bed, staring at the shadows on his ceiling. He kept thinking about the letter S on the silver watch and the gold watch in the box. If the woman bought the watch in London, Tom thought, then Sarah is in London. Or she was in London. At 2 a.m., Tom got out of bed. He put on his jacket. He had his own key to the shop now. He walked through the silent streets of Oakhaven. The moonlight was shining on the stones. He unlocked the shop door. Ding-a-ling. He did not turn on the lights. He used a small flashlight. He wanted to look at the box again. He felt that there was something else inside. He was searching the bottom of the box when he found a secret compartment. He pushed a small piece of wood. A tiny drawer opened. Inside, there was a small, black diary. Tom opened the diary. The handwriting was messy and fast. July 12, 1976, Arthur is so angry. He does not understand. I found the treasure under the old oak tree, but he thinks I am lying. I will hide the key in the garden. If he is smart, he will find it. The old oak tree. Tom whispered. Suddenly, a voice came from the shadows. You should not be here, Tom. Chapter 11: The Secret of the Tree. Tom jumped. He turned around. Mr. Miller was standing near the grandfather clocks. He was wearing a long dressing gown. He was holding a candle. I am sorry, sir, Tom said. I found this diary. It mentions a treasure and a key. Mr. Miller walked closer. He looked at the diary. The old oak tree, he whispered. There is only one old oak tree in Oakhaven. It is in the middle of the park. The park where I should have met her. We must go there, Tom said. Now? Mr. Miller asked. It is 2 in the morning. Yes, now, Tom said. Time is moving, Arthur. We have lost 50 years. We cannot lose another hour. They walked to the park. The wind was blowing through the trees. In the center of the park, there was a massive oak tree. It looked like a giant in the dark. They searched the ground. They searched the branches. Tom used his flashlight. Suddenly, he saw something metallic. It was a small tin box buried near a large root. Tom dug it up with his hands. Inside the tin box, there was no gold. There was no money. There was only a small, rusted key and a photo of a young Arthur and Sarah. She left this for me, Arthur said. She wanted me to find it. Chapter 12: The London Plan. The next morning, the clock shop was closed. A sign on the door read, "Closed for a family emergency. We will return soon." Tom and Arthur were standing at the train station. Arthur was carrying an old suitcase. He was looking at the train tracks. I have not left Oakhaven in 40 years, he said. I am afraid, Tom. London is so big. What if we do not find her? We will find her, Tom said. I have searched the internet. I found a Sarah Miller who lives in North London. She is a retired teacher. She is 71 years old. It must be her. The train arrived. It was loud and fast. Arthur jumped, but Tom held his arm. They got on the train. As the train moved, Arthur looked out the window. He saw the green fields of England flying by. I forgot how beautiful the world is, Arthur said. You have been in the shop too long, Tom replied. The world has been waiting for you. Chapter 13: The Search in the City. London was a shock for Arthur. There were too many people. There were too many cars. The buildings were too tall. It is so loud. Arthur shouted over the noise of a red bus. Stay close to me. Tom shouted. They took a taxi to a quiet street in a place called Highgate. The houses here were old and had beautiful gardens. Number 42, Tom said. This is the address. They stood in front of a blue door. Arthur was holding the gold watch in his hand. He was shaking. I cannot do it, Tom. You knock on the door. No, Arthur. She is your sister. You must do it. Arthur reached out. He knocked on the blue door. Knock. 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 They waited. Tom could hear his own heart beating. Tick-tock. Tick-tock. The door opened. An old woman stood there. She had white hair and kind eyes. She was wearing a yellow cardigan. She looked at Arthur. Arthur looked at her. Neither of them spoke. Then, Arthur held up the gold watch. The woman's hand went to her mouth. Arthur, she whispered. I am sorry I am late, Sarah, Arthur said. I was busy fixing the clocks. Chapter 14, The Reunion. They sat in Sarah's kitchen. It was a warm, bright room. There were many photos on the walls. I waited in the park for 3 hours, Sarah said. She was holding a cup of tea. I cried all the way to London. I thought you hated me. I never hated you, Arthur said. I was a fool. I found your letter yesterday. It had been behind the workbench for 50 years. Sarah laughed, but there were tears in her eyes. Typical. You always were bad at cleaning, Arthur. She looked at Tom. And who is this young man? This is Tom, Arthur said. He is my helper. But really, he is the one who found the time we had lost. Sarah reached into her pocket. She pulled out a small silver key, the match to the one Tom had found under the oak tree. I kept my half of the treasure key, she said. I always hoped we would open the box together one day. But what is the treasure? Tom asked. Sarah and Arthur looked at each other. They looked at the kitchen, the tea, and the sunlight. This is the treasure, Tom, Sarah said. Being together. That is the only thing that matters. Chapter 15, A New Time. 1 month later, Miller's clocks reopened. But the shop was different. There was a new sign in the window, Miller and Son and Sister, Clocks and Coffee. Tom was no longer a cleaner. He was learning how to fix the hearts of the watches. Mr. Miller was teaching him everything. Sarah had moved back to Oakhaven. She was running the small cafe in the front of the shop. Now, the shop was full of the smell of fresh bread and the sound of laughter. The clocks were still ticking. Tick-tock. Tick-tock. But now, nobody was worried about the time. Arthur Miller looked at his sister. He looked at Tom. He smiled. Tom, Arthur said. Yes, sir. Stop calling me a sir. And look at the clock. It is 5 o'clock. It is time to stop working and start living. Tom closed the big book on the counter. He turned off the lamp. You are right, Arthur. You are always right about the time. The three friends walked out of the shop and into the warm evening air. The sun was setting, but for the first time in 50 years, Arthur Miller was not afraid of the dark.